It's 6:30 on February 24th, and I'm calling to order the meeting of the Guilford Selectboard. So, Chip,
Yes.
would you offer us the rules of procedure?
I will. So the Select Board is required by Vermont statute, conducts its meetings in accordance with Vermont Open Meeting Law Statute 1 VSA 310 to 314, except as provided in section 313 of that title. The statute reads, "The public shall be given a reasonable opportunity to express its opinion on matters considered by the public body during the meeting, as long as order is maintained. Public comment shall be subject to reasonable rules established by the chairperson." The Vermont Secretary of State's office words it this way: "The public comment period is not a free-for-all. The board chair may establish reasonable rules to maintain order, and reasonable limitations on the amount of time for each speaker are not unusual or improper."
Thank you, Chip. Do we have any changes to the agenda order?
Order, no, but there was the one thing that you wanted to.
Oh, yes.
Table.
Did we want to do that right now or table it when we come to it?
I think we can do it either way.
Okay, well, we are going to table the rules of procedure conversation and take it up when we have the next select board.
Okay.
So, moving right along, it's time for public comment or announcements. Nobody has contacted me about a public announcement. Is there anybody out there who has an issue that you'd like to share or an event? Hearing no comment,
Yeah.
we can move right along to approval of the minutes of the meeting 2/10/25. Do I hear?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, the race is on. Okay, so let's see. Well, all of us, we have a quorum here. So all in favor of approving the minutes of 2/10/25, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And, okay, so we have approved that. Okay, and so Tara is still away, so I will move the warrants. And so I move that we pay the following warrants: payroll week 2/16/25 for the sum of $10,438.23. Payroll week 2/23/25 for the sum of $8,297.52. Expense warrant number 2516 for the sum of $21,616.16, for a grand total of $40,351.91. So is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, and so in terms of the invoices of interest, I have some notes about that. There was Blue Cross Blue Shield for $10,058.37, and there was a whole bunch of highway department related repairs and parts. DJ Trucking, Howard Fairfield, Jack of All Blades, and then also Barrows and Fisher Fuel has been bought by a group called Roberts Energy, and the diesel fuel cost $4,742.19. So Blue Cross Blue Shield was $10,058.37.
And that is reflective of their new pricing for this year. 2025, at the beginning of the year, their pricing went up.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yes, horrifying.
Yeah.
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 It's a little over, it fluctuates, but it's at least $1,000 more monthly than it was.
$1,000 more monthly.
Well, for all the employees, so that's.
Mhm. Right.
Eight people.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so, let's see, so we had a second, and so all in favor of paying the warrants, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, nobody is abstaining. So now it's time for updates and reports. So Erica, take it away.
Okay. Okay, all right. So, since we last met, the staff at the town office had a staff meeting to get ready for town meeting and the election. I have still been communicating with Wyndham Regional and our V-Trans contacts about what is going on with money that may be coming from federal sources, and I don't have any answers yet. The RFP that we talked about last time for painting of the Historical Society Museum has gone out. I've set the deadline for March 17th, and the select board can decide on that on the 24th, assuming we get some responses. I picked up the extra town reports that were printed. There are copies here, and we'll be bringing some to the town meeting as well, but if anybody needs a copy, we have them here at the town office. It's very beautiful as far as I can tell. As if you didn't get one in the mail, and you need one to pick up, there's a form to fill out so that we get your right address next time.
And the form, I'm sorry to interrupt,
No,
but
it's
is
fine.
the form on the town website? I mean, how would people get the form?
Yeah, just, we have it with the copies, so it's a paper form that is by the stack of copies.
Oh, okay, so a person
Yeah.
would come in, pick up a town report from the town office and fill out their
Fill
proper
out-
address.
Yeah, if the address
Okay.
didn't work, we'll figure out why,
Okay.
hopefully.
Terrific.
Yeah. Or you could always call or email. And
Oh, good point.
I'll make a note. The pre-town meeting that was filmed by BCTV is now online on their website. So if you missed that, you can check it out. And at pre-town meeting, the fire department showed a presentation regarding the new truck they want to purchase over the next couple of years. So that presentation is on the front page of Guilford's website. You can look at the PDF of that.
And will they present that again at town meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
They will.
Yeah, she's gonna make some adjustments to it, actually.
So there are a couple of errors that have been found in the town report, as usual. There's so much information in there. Of course, there are always a few little things, and these are all related to spreadsheets and the way they pull into the graphic design program. Usually it's fine, sometimes weird stuff happens. So I published an errata on the town website, and there's copies of it out front too, and as we collect those errors and any more that we may find over the next week, we'll do printouts and bring them to town meeting so people can see what it is. It's nothing really major as far as I can tell there. The worst thing is that the delinquent tax report is a spreadsheet of, 7 columns or so, and the last 2, something funky happened and they're not right. So
Oh.
I have that whole chart on this printout, and other than that, Chip found this one. A header
Oh,
for
amazing.
the highway department is wrong, but the actual chart itself is right. So it's just, there's one header in one place that reads the data for 2023 forward, and that's not right. It should be the same as all the other headers.
Mhm. Well, that was a huge responsibility, putting together the town
Oh,
report.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine
it's
the
so
time.
much information, and so many people proofreading it, and
Mhm.
proofreading again and again. So it's pretty amazing that we have only a couple of those errors. And so those printouts are available here at the town office and online. And speaking of something available at the town office, the Bullock Scholarship applications are here at the front desk. If you have a high school senior, I think it's open to Guilford High School kids going to college
Or trade school,
or trade school.
Mhm.
Yep. So
higher education of some kind.
yes. And I got a phone call today, this is really interesting, from someone from National Grid Power Company. And they have a large D4 high voltage transmission line going through the southeastern corner of Guilford, right like at East Mountain Road. And they're going to be doing some visual inspection of the power line there by helicopter. So the people that called, they wanted to alert the town and say, don't call the police. The police have been alerted, don't worry, they're just taking pictures.
I wonder how we could disseminate that. Maybe they'd like to put it on Front Porch Forum or
Sure,
somehow.
well, I can do that. I can just
Okay.
make a little announcement to say,
Good idea.
the gray helicopter
Yeah.
that's hovering, and they plan on doing it starting on Wednesday, the 26th, and it's expected to last for 2 weeks, but I don't think there's 2 weeks worth of power lines in Guilford. It goes from the Massachusetts border, right East Mountain Road, over Route 5 and to 91. So like,
Oh, okay,
right
so,
by the Gaines Farm,
okay,
Yeah.
and right there, it's just a little corner for us, so that's it. That's
Well,
my
that's
update.
Good.
plenty.
Yeah, slow week.
Right.
Oh, and town meeting is Saturday.
Yes,
Yes.
Everybody, don't forget.
March
this
1st.
Saturday, March 1st.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Town meeting at the school.
Okay.
Tuesday, March 4th, voting at the Grange, BBCC.
That's right. Yes. So we have a message from our highway department.
We do. Jimmy says, good evening from the town garage. February has been very active weather-wise. It seems that we were out fighting snow and rain 3 nights a week. Heavy use of equipment means trucks in the ditch, flat tires, worn out tire chains, along with worn out parts and broken welds. So that's all of those payables. Luckily, we have a handy crew and most repairs are done in-house.
Wow.
Replacing blown hoses, reattaching mud flaps, and welding bent plowing equipment have been common activities. So all of the guys can do welding and
Wow.
repair on the equipment, which is
That's
so
nice.
handy. The crew finally had a whole weekend off this past weekend, and it was greatly appreciated. March has traditionally been the most troublesome winter month for several years. We still have salt and sand in the sheds to deal with it. Let's hope for a break this March. Either way, we're prepared for what Mother Nature sends us. Looking forward to better days ahead, says Jim.
That's very gracious.
Yes.
Well, if anybody from the highway department is somehow watching our select board meeting, I know our universal gratitude, abject gratitude, actually, is, I hope we can adequately convey it. We are so counting on you, and you are delivering. So, now we're moving on to the part of the meeting called Old Business. And we're following up on last week, a planning commission planning grant application. And this will result in a motion. And so, is there any discussion about this before we entertain a motion? Or I guess we can entertain the motion seconded
Right,
and then
yeah.
have it, okay. So I move that we approve the planning grant application that we discussed last week.
I will second.
Okay, so is there any conversation about this grant?
I have something to add to
Okay,
what we were
great.
talking about last time. You asked if I needed to administrate this grant at all, and I said no, I didn't really. Jeanette is definitely handling the application part of it, but I will need to be the, I'm just gonna read it off of here. I need to be the municipal authorizing official for the grant electronic application and reporting system, and to execute the grant agreement and other such documents as may be necessary to secure these funds. So
Can you
basically.
interpret that in plain English?
Yeah, so the state has a grant management system, it's called GEARS.
Okay,
And I have done all the work necessary to get myself in there as a municipal authorizing official so that I can receive information and give information about these grants. So I'll work with Jeanette once it's ready to be sent to them, and they'll send me the information about it,
okay,
and I'll pass it along.
okay. Well, thank you for your future service. Sounds like a lot. I hope it's really pro forma.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. Jeanette, was there anything you wanted to add before we vote?
Just I think I hope that we get the grant, because so much has changed in the last 12 months in terms of the legislature, with major acts passed in 2024 that are really going to affect local planning. Updates to Act 250 is one, and then another Act 121, which has a statewide regulation of development along river corridors.
Right.
So we need to, as a town, be really prepared to address these kind of state mandated changes that are coming our way.
Mhm. And we'll do that through public meeting and
Yeah.
conversations.
Embedded in this grant is robust community outreach and dialogue. So again, I want to emphasize, this is not the planning commission kind of huddling in secrecy. This really is meant to be a community driven process.
Mhm. Okay, well, with that in mind, let's see, I think I already moved and we
Yes.
seconded
Yes.
this. So, thank you. So all in favor of approving the motion for the planning grant indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay, well, that's unanimous for who's here, and thank you so very much. And thank you, Jeanette, for keeping at it.
Yeah, whew, those
Okay.
grants are, ooh.
Okay, so the next item of old business was for us to take action on the professional audit engagement fiscal year 25 per Guilford procurement of goods and services policy. So do I hear a motion to approve this?
I'll make that motion. to approve
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and so conversation about this audit engagement. Erica, did you want to just give a very quick review of, for people out there, of what we're talking about?
Yep, we are talking about something we do every year. The auditing firm, Mudgett, Jeanette Krogh and Krogh Wisner, they send us an engagement letter annually, and I want to say again that our contract price that we pay them has not changed in the last year, 2 years. It won't change this year. It will change in 2027 possibly, but the auditor has been pretty pleased with the way that the town's staff has been dealing with the information that she needed, and so she's happy to keep it at the same cost for this year. And we have a email about that. This is just the standard governmental audit that we do every year, and we get a report after it's done, and it's a really eye-opening experience every year for Ellie and I. It's a really good chance to just understand a lot about the finances of the town and really look at things from this auditor's perspective, because she's such an expert in GASB, governmental accounting functions. We always consult with her about not just the audit and the journal entries that need to be made, but just, we can ask her anything, like, how should we do this thing? Like, I asked her, what is the best thing to do with the money that was voted for law enforcement that we haven't spent yet? And she was able to give me a very good answer. And people seem to be like agreeing with that that's the right thing to do. So that's really, she's just great to work with.
It must be a major time commitment of you and Ellie.
Mostly Ellie.
Ellie?
Yeah, I mean, there are things that she needs from the town administrator, specifically select board minutes and certain other things, like decisions that the select board has made. She needs a lot from Ellie, like a lot of reporting, a lot of journal entry stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for Ellie.
And the longevity of this relationship is, I mean, it's mutual education as well as tremendous security for the town and the taxpayers, knowing how on every level we're vetting our procedures. This is our money at work. So,
Is the audit available to the public?
Yes, after it's complete, the audit for 2023 is on the website, and that's also the town report is based on that too. The auditor's report on the financial standing of the town, and the actual report itself is available on the website under reports. And when the 2025 one is done in July, August, whenever it's done, no, it won't be done in July, but maybe September. She starts here in August with her process, and it takes a little while. But whenever she's done, that will be posted too.
okay. So we haven't voted on this yet, correct?
Not.
Okay, I mean, we had such an enjoyable conversation that I got sidetracked. Okay, so all in favor of approving the professional audit engagement for FY '25, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, and no abstentions, I say aye as well. Okay, so what's next is a discussion, not leading to an action, but our ongoing new state ethics rules and requirements, the Code of Ethics Ordinance and Conflict of Interest Policy. And so here we are, let's talk.
Yeah, so there's like so many pieces to this, but basically, just a little background. So it's Act 171, and they passed it in the Vermont legislature back on June 10th of last year, which really just kind of changes the ethical regulatory landscape for some commissions and the select board. And what it really does, it basically removes the municipal authority to enact conflict of interest prohibitions, and it's tailored to address the specific needs. So basically it comes up with a new top-down, one-size-fits-all statewide municipal code of ethics. There's like two kind of major parts to it. The first is it repeals the existing municipal ethics statutes, which were previously now they've just been wiped off the books. And it also requires new ethics training requirements to take effect by September 30th. For people who haven't yet taken that incredible piece of video course. It was actually pretty interesting, I thought, actually. So there's a couple of points. I mean, we have to post quite a bit online, and Erica's definitely on top of all of that. The two pieces of things that need to be settled are whether we still need the Town of Guilford conflict of interest policy, because there has to be some additions to that to fit into the Vermont statute. And the Vermont statute is also very clear that you can't have any sort of requirements that are less than what are now in the ethics ordinance. So, that has to be as good or better, which, I've taken a deep dive on it along with Erica, and ours is, as good or better. There's a couple of, additions that need to be made to it. There needs to be, one clause in the Article 8 recusal, which is on page, well, I've got it on page 3. But, under the recusal of elected officers, that's now no longer valid, and needs to be changed. So the new selection has to read, elected officers must file a disclosure statement where the public officer has an allowable conflict or appearance of a conflict and have decided to act on the matter rather than recuse themselves. So that sentence needs to be incorporated into our existing policy in this recusal section for the ease of reference for anybody who wants to take a look at it. So that needs to be done. And then the rest of the conflict of interest policy that's right now on the website is actually excellent. And that's been sort of run through the mill. So it's been fine-tuned and ready to roll. The other thing that we need to do is, part of it has been done. Each municipality's legislative body, which is us as the select board, must designate an employee or one of its members to serve as an ethics liaison at the state ethics commission.
That's done.
And that's done. So that's actually Erica and Uriel, correct?
Mhm.
So the other thing that has to be done is assign a municipal officer, or the position's actually called a designated complaint recipient, who will receive complaints alleging violations of the municipal code of ethics. And Erica tells me that that person actually has to investigate the complaints that come in.
Person or board, it could be
Person
the,
or
it could be
board,
the
right.
select board,
Yeah,
or a different board, I'm not
or
sure
it could be a
whether
member of the select
picturing,
board
or
too,
yes,
yeah,
any member, or, yeah,
yeah.
the whole thing.
And I understand that there isn't really yet any guidance about what an investigation means, what specifically an investigation entails, because at this point, it seems, well, one, like an unfunded mandate,
Right,
you know, like using somebody's time. And also, it seems like there are issues that could come up that would be really complicating. And I would really love to hear VLCT or the Ethics Commission itself address some of the complications. I mean, I think they really need to anticipate what could happen on a very local level
yes.
and how to contain this and not have it be so global or what feels loosey-goosey to me.
The Ethics Commission has been very responsive to me. I was emailing with the executive director over the weekend. She got back to me on Sunday morning, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
But I think that VLCT is kind of saying, well, they're kicking it over to the Ethics Commission, and the Ethics Commission is working on best practices currently. So much like with the open meeting law change last summer, we wait, and we wait for clarification. So we can do what we can do and follow the guidance now, and then as things get more understood by all the various groups, we'll get more guidance.
Yeah.
So does that mean that the complaint department, as my father used to say, when we were crabbing about things, he would say, the complaint department is now open? I mean, is there an onset within each town to the adoption of this protocol, really?
So the code is live. Guilford has we have to adopt an ordinance about it. There's no choice in doing that. There
Right.
has to be an ordinance adopted, and along with the ordinance is a complaint procedure. As far as I understand right now, I could be wrong, but there are two ways to make a complaint. You could make it directly to the commission, the state commission, and then they would look at it
They don't actually investigate the
They
complaint.
would not investigate it, they would send it to the designated complaint recipient here or the liaison here
Yeah,
for them to parse it out. Or you could complain directly to your municipality's complaint recipient.
yeah,
And then the same process would begin, and investigation probably would involve the commission in some way. And they have a set of standards about what can be complaints.
Yes,
Like, you can't just say, I don't like the guy's look.
and it can't be
Yeah,
anonymous.
They have, right.
And it has to be directed at an individual as opposed to somebody couldn't just say, complain against the select board, as an example.
Yeah, it's a specific conflict of interest with one person.
One person.
Yeah, because the whole board would have to have a conflict.
Right,
Yeah.
you could, if you,
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
it could be appropriate if multiple members of the board have
Right.
the same conflict or known
Yeah.
conflicts.
Okay,
I suppose you could
Yeah.
make a multiple person
right.
complaint.
but the parameters of the ethics ordinance are really financial issues. I mean, they're not sort of moral, ethical
No,
Right.
issues where, I mean, it's really, I mean, and this is both a limitation that I thought in my understanding of ethics, and a relief at the same time.
yeah,
That, well, a relief to me because I know that there may be complaints, but the people who do our work, who come to the select board, who volunteer for commissions, are highly ethical people. And the idea of getting any financial gain from
oh,
this
yeah.
is beyond the scope of select board protocol in terms of laughter.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So the ordinance actually is written, and then it's ready to roll, right? Oh, it's,
Yes,
yeah, so I
the
can
select board needs to
sign.
figure out who's going to be the complaint recipient, and
Yeah.
then a backup in case the complaint recipient is complained about.
Right, and then, because the Guilford, so we've done, you know, there was 4 pieces of things that, there were 4 things that needed to be written. I wrote the ethics, conflict of the ordinance is done, and then Erica went through it with her nice, brilliant, usual fine tooth comb, and it's now ready to roll. There's also a Guilford Municipal Ethics Complaint Form that is ready to go. And then, let me see, I've got, there's a Municipal Code of Ethics definition, which is taken directly from the chapter, which is now ready to roll, and then
That is posted,
it's posted, okay.
that's posted
And
online.
then there's a whistleblower form as well.
That is
That's
also posted online
yeah.
and in the town office.
Yeah, so we just have the complaint form and then the actual ordinance, which are both done.
So the whistleblower is different from the complainer.
Yes. Yeah,
It's, the whistleblower form is a pretty standard thing that you see a lot, especially in
In companies and
government. Yeah,
corporations,
it's about employees, retaliation against
yeah,
employees.
it's protective,
Yeah.
really.
It protects employees.
Oh, from retaliation.
Yeah, retaliation.
If the complainer is,
An employee,
okay,
then
yeah.
Okay,
would apply
that's-
to them, for sure.
right, I think those distinctions
It's important.
are important for us to highlight. Okay, so is everybody satisfied with our, our discussion about this in terms of, do you have more questions about it or comments that we need to consider?
No, I mean,
We're getting there.
yeah, we're getting there. We just have to do you want to we can't designate, or we can put some names out to see if anybody's interested in being that. Whether here or the town
Well,
office.
don't all
but
shout at once.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I guess an action to be taken, you know,
Right.
from, before we close the meeting is to try to interest somebody in being the complaint recipient, besides besides or in addition to Erica.
And I will continue my conversation with the Ethics Commission and try to get from them what a town the size of ours that doesn't have an HR department.
That's a good,
Can
well, that-
do-
yeah, that'd be
Can
great.
it
Can
be
do
anyone
that.
else other tan select board members or the town administrator?
I was thinking Uriel is the town clerk, but when I read it, I just thought in my head, the way it was worded, which is a little vague, is that just, they just give, he's the designated complaint recipient, so he just takes it in, but not only that, he not only takes it in, but he also has to investigate it, so I think then you're walking into a sort of a time frame, with enough on his plate already, so, but at first I got
We have to know
Uriel.
what investigation really means.
Yeah.
Right, there has
I
to
mean,
be
what
a
does that
procedure.
really
Yeah, that's a good
have to do?
point, yeah.
So,
Yes, and could this be, Bex's question about whether it could be like an outside buds person,
Yeah,
whether that
Right,
would
I mean, I
be
think that.
a volunteer role for somebody.
A lot of the statute seems to be worded to make room for that.
Maybe a nice retired lawyer or something.
right, you would need somebody with some investigative skills, is just to set the parameters up for it, but I think that Erica, that's a good point, I think once we find out what the defined definition is of investigation and what it entails in terms of work and man hours and timeframes, then it could help us define, or at least settle down on something and take names. Or, maybe one of us would volunteer, depends on how it, depends on what the time frame is.
This is not passing a straight face test.
Yeah,
Yeah, wipe that smile off your face, Bex.
yeah,
Could be you.
could be you.
Okay,
So
well.
that's it.
Okay, so now we're moving on to town meeting prep. I did check in with John Franklin about being our parliamentarian. He will have to get out his book and bone up while he's milking. And I have to make sure that the child care workers, I haven't heard back from them. After they said they would do it, we have a firm commitment, but last minute things, I think I should make sure that
Right,
they.
and I have been communicating with the school and they seem to be well set for us. I have arranged to borrow some folding chairs from BBCC. Now I just need to arrange for some kind of pickup truck thing to get them from one place to another. Another thing that we're working on, we're gonna have Ellie and Uriel and I are going to meet with Rick tomorrow to go over what's gonna happen Saturday. Ellie would like, as town clerk, she's organizing the room and setting it up, she would like to sort of change the way people enter the school for town meetings. She would like for everybody to enter through the front door and walk down the hall, so that way everybody gets a chance to see the tables that are set up by the various groups, and there will be a check-in at that entrance to the gym. So no check-in at the entrance from outside, that door will not be open for entrance. So we'll put
That makes
signs
a
up.
lot of sense,
Yeah.
especially since
It's
we
cold.
have, we have voting on a different day.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's no need to go in and out that door because there's no voting.
Right.
So the funnel will be moved.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so I did talk to Tasha Tillman about her son Hux, and she was concerned about how long the meeting would be and whether we would maybe wanna, so
Maybe
we
we
need
need
to
to,
keep on recruiting a little bit. In those grades.
okay,
So I got a definite no from one of the homeschool people, so that wasn't going to happen. But I think we're in good shape if people remember to get up on Saturday morning and come. And then come back and vote, it's a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know whether, when we were deciding, it certainly wasn't in my mind when we were deciding to do this on Saturday morning.
I believe
that it
John
was-
knew and mentioned it, but it was sort of more exciting to have the possibility of more people attending or able to attend.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how many show up and if there's
Yeah.
a dramatic difference,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean,
no
different towns
inkling.
have had different
levels of.
experiences
Yeah.
with that. I mean, the coming back and voting thing.
A lot
Just-
of people have gotten absentee
Yes.
Oh,
ballots.
really?
Yes.
Do we have, I don't mean that you have them right now, but somebody is keeping count for how many
Mhm.
absent or
Yeah.
early ballots or alternative.
Yes, I'm sure that Ellie or Uriel could tell
Right.
you how many I
Okay,
cannot.
good.
But
Okay.
it's robust, I think, and I think that's based on the fact that people don't want to come back on Tuesday. Yeah.
I know, I feel nostalgic about Tuesday, but the people have spoken.
Right, so if you get your absentee ballot, you can always return it to here if the town office is open, or the ballot box will be open until 5 o'clock Monday, March 3rd.
I see, so people could just theoretically bring their completed ballots to town meeting and pretend they're handing them to a person and just put them in the box.
You have to come here and,
Yeah,
The
well, it's
ballot
on
box.
the way to the school.
that's right, yeah.
Okay, well, I think we have that covered, correct? Okay, then flipping your page over, we're on new business. And so we're tabling the rules of procedure conversation. And B, annual select board appointments and organizational meeting that will be on March 10th and will include whoever is elected to be on our select board. And so Erica, was there something we needed to discuss about this?
I just wanted to start the process, because you'll actually be doing it on the 10th, and it happens every year. Forthwith, I'll read the statute. After its election and qualification, the select board shall organize and elect a chair, and if so voted, we're not doing that, a clerk from among its number, I'm a clerk, and file a certificate of such election for record in the office of the town clerk. And then the statute goes on to name the appointments that the select board makes of town officials. So annually, there's quite a number of them, and I will prepare that for the select board to go over. And I will make sure that people want to do these positions still. We have a few changes. We have a new, I'm sure our tree warden that we appointed in December will continue. Highway commissioner and a number of other commissioners.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's some legwork for me just to make sure that people are willing to be appointed. I need
okay,
to communicate with everyone, and I'm working on that now.
thank you. And so, also, as you'll notice, the newspaper of record is what will decide, and in the last several years, we've gone with both the Commons and the Reformer because people have observed that they have different readerships in the town, and to be inclusive, it's certainly within our financial scope to do that, and we don't want to miss anybody. So, okay, the next item is recording advisory body meetings per VLCT and the statute that I don't really feel like reading. But, yeah, so, new guidance. Erica, would you like to make the interesting announcement?
Sure, it's not really new, it is a clarification of previous guidance. So this new additions to the open meeting law about recording meetings came down to us last summer in July. And the guidance from VLCT at that point was, because the statute addressed different types of bodies, they make the delineation between advisory bodies and non-advisory bodies. A non-advisory body is the select board. The select board makes financial decisions, budgetary decisions, quasi-judicial decisions. Non-advisory, almost everyone else is advisory. So if, for instance, the name advisory is in the name of your commission or committee, you probably are an advisory body. I believe all of our commissions here are advisory bodies. They don't have budgetary authority, just the select board does. So when they were newly talking about these guidelines, I inquired of VLCT about exactly who needed to do it, and they said, well, just everybody should probably do it just to be safe.
Record their meetings.
Record the meetings,
Yeah.
yeah. And they're backing off on that
Yeah.
quite a lot now, and they're very clear on who is advisory and who, since they're advisory, don't need to record their meetings. So a number of our commissions have asked, after taking the most recent open meeting law training, if they still had to do that, because VLCT said they did. So,
It's an interesting question to me. I mean, on one hand, I mean, for instance, the cemetery commission goes out and does work. And we would have, let's say, a business part of the meeting, but it's very unwieldy and makes no sense. On the other hand, the rec commission has pointed out, the secretary of the rec commission pointed out that recording the meeting helps her to make accurate minutes. And so the free flow of discussion at the meeting without the secretary having to parse out all of the proper details seems valuable than to go back and do the minutes. Some commissions have said that it's inhibiting, you know, it certainly is inhibiting to record a meeting in terms of what people can say to each other, how, you know, casual comments and things like that. And I mean, I do think that it should be up to these commissions as a culture. I mean, I found just considering open meeting law and our select board that we are called to be a lot more process oriented because this is being recorded. If there's any value in recording this meeting as a public service, then trying to explain to people what we're doing in the presence of the public, you know, has value. But I do think that it's something you have to get used to. And if the commissions would prefer, if some of them would prefer not to, I don't think we need to have a one-size-fits-all rule.
I don't think so either.
I agree.
And the other thing too is if the rec commission, for example, does record their meetings, and she's gonna use it for the minutes, you can get AI to just transcribe it, and you got instant minutes.
You did that almost.
Yeah.
Really, does it make them sort of idiotic, or?
No, you just,
Sort of.
yeah, sort of, yeah. You can go back and reread what you wish you hadn't said, but, yeah, no, it's all, it's
Oh,
done,
really?
so, yeah.
And you can edit it, I mean, you can
yeah,
go
you
through
should
and
definitely
edit it,
proofread.
right?
You can,
The AI does.
yeah, you can definitely proofread it, but, yeah, you can make edits to it, you know, and then what you do is, you know, like say, for example, if we were gonna AI this meeting, once you get on there, AI identifies Veranda, me, you, Bex, and then once you put those names in, then it automatically recognizes the tone, inflection, and all that, and it just throws it up there.
Along with your social security number.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, yeah, no, it's perfect, so if she ever wanted to do that, instead
Well-
of taking copious notes or whatever, just AI it.
Well, that would be an interesting suggestion for Kelsey.
Yeah, I'll reach
You
out to
know,
her.
I will.
No.
I will,
Yeah.
but remember that on all of the AI assistant things, it always says very directly that the AI can make mistakes.
Oh, they definitely can, yeah, I mean,
Right.
eventually, sometimes it gets confused between people if the voices are close. But, you know, I forgot, but the thing about it is, like the one that I use, it gives you an accuracy score prior to, you know, right after doing it. And it's, you know, 92%, 88% or whatever, so it's a lot, you know, I use it all the time, actually.
Do you mean, I don't wanna take up a whole lot of
Yeah.
time with this, it ascertains how accurate it has been?
Yeah,
And what if you disagree?
yeah, you're right, yeah. But it's
Okay.
actually it's pretty much dead on. The audio quality is there. You know, like, for example, the pre-town meeting, you couldn't ever do that because people just weren't grabbing the microphone. So, you know, if there's an exchange with somebody and I've got the mic and Jeanette doesn't have the mic, you're gonna hear me, but you won't hear Jeanette.
I
But,
see.
yeah. So,
Okay.
all right, so grab the mic next time, Jeanette.
Okay, well, that's, I appreciated that conversation. Okay, so D is Highway Foreman 90-day review. And so, what do we have for that, report?
Well, you folks need to form a task force of 2 select board members to give Jimmy his 90-day review.
I see,
I'll volunteer for that.
okay,
I just did one with him for one of his employees, so,
I see. And so we need
And they
two,
all have that coming up,
yeah,
so,
yeah,
and so we need 2 select board members to do that?
yes.
yeah, we do too.
I'll work with Chip on that.
Okay, great.
I think he could feel me boring into the back of his head. Yeah, I asked Bex, but he's a short timer.
Really? Wow.
Okay,
Right.
well,
I think
so
you
do
could
we need to
vote
have
on
a
that.
vote
I
on
believe you
this?
could do that, yeah.
Okay.
It's not controversial and,
Okay,
um,
well, I move that we appoint, Mike and Chip as a task force to do the, highway foreman's 90-day review. And is there a second, Bex?
I'll second that.
Okay, any conversation? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we have approved that task force, and so I'm not sure when Jimmy's going away.
Tomorrow.
he's going away tomorrow, he'll be back next Wednesday.
Okay,
I can
so,
work out the schedule.
Yeah, because we're gonna cross, because I'm actually not gonna make the next select board meeting on the 10th, March 10th.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay, we're not in a rush.
okay. Okay, so next we have Conservation Commission resignations and appreciation. And we've had 2 letters of resignation, one from Linda Lemke and one from Karen Murphy. And I want to appreciate that they have been dedicated to the Conservation Commission for 15 years and 14 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
Linda was appointed in 2010 and Karen in 2011.
And 2011,
That's amazing.
and that work involved so many aspects, from dealing with poison ivy and invasives, hacking and whacking,
Yeah.
to research policies, to public education, to policy, best practices, you know, making recommendations, and their dedication to this and their commitment, even their letters of resignation said that they would continue to support the Conservation Commission's work.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
they have recruited this year 2 new people to step up and actually, Josh Farr, isn't that his name?
Yep.
Yeah, he actually was spearheading the photo exhibition that when we go to vote,
Yeah,
we can look at the upstairs of the BBCC. I was too
was
tired after the
really,
sugar
really
on
good.
snow supper to make it up the stairs.
there's
But-
some great photos in there.
Yeah, it
Wendy
was,
Ireland, Adam Montgomery, I mean, there's really good photos.
it's the What I Love About Guilford
Yeah, I
exhibition.
could list about 10
And,
names, actually, they're all really good.
yeah, they did a lot of recruitment for that. And so the Conservation Commission is in really good shape and, I'm sure, there'll probably be some further recognition of Linda and Karen, but both of them parenthetically also worked at Guilford School as Karen ran the ELF program, or later the Four Winds program on environmental education for kids. And Linda did book arts with students and had them create handmade books, always about nature type stuff.
right.
And, they're just incredible public servants, and it's great to have a new generation stepping up to do that, knowing that they've got big shoes and all to fill. Okay, so that takes care of that. Do we have any other business? Okay, and the correspondence was just their resignation letters?
Well, I have a couple more things.
Oh, goody.
This one's quick, but I got a very nice note from Al Kenworthy on Orkowski to compliment the highway crew for the great job they've done snow plowing
Very
recently,
nice.
because that sure was a lot of snow.
Yeah,
And another thing that I received is from the Franklin Land Trust. We get this every year. It's
Right.
about their D2R2 bike race. It's happening this year on August 23rd, Saturday. We don't have to do anything, but it does go through Guilford, so we'll be aware of them passing through.
Terrific.
And that's it.
And so now we have another public comment period. Does anybody have any public comment that they feel moved to share? Okay, then, okay, so now we're on actions from the 2/10/25 meeting. We approved the minutes of 1/27/25, we approved the minutes of 1/30/25, approved warrants, appointed two Republicans to the BCA, appointed Mike S. to planning liaison, and actions that we took at this meeting. We tabled an item. We approved the warrants, we approved the planning commission grant, we approved the professional audit engagement. Let's see, we created a task force for evaluating our highway foreman, and I think that was some of the actions taken. Actions to be taken, or to find out more about ethics. And so another action to be taken before we adjourn is to celebrate Michael Becker for his, on his retirement. And so here is an envelope, oh no!
oh, this day.
Showing our
Oh,
appreciation.
thank you.
And here is a poem which I will now read. For Beck's exiting our select board, you were the one to arrive and run, throw your hat in the ring and offer to serve, pulling your weight for our town. You set down roots in a noble, drafty home by the river with your darling and offspring, 4 M's, Mike, Megan, Max, and Miles. And the boys endured hours of serious blather, squirming in silence with comics and cookies till Megan could manage to free them. And Bex will remember your time on tasks behind the scenes with expertise, conferring at the town garage, keeping faith with the guys. Quiet by nature and gentle by manner, your voice conveyed power through years of statutes and sudden disputes you shared. Beyond this arena, we hear you're a rocker, strumming, drumming with the boys in the band, the dad guy coaching on ice and slopes. So this is one final hurrah at our table where you never made a meal of trouble. Here's an evening of leisure at Green River Inn.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
Nice
yes.
job, buddy.
Nice,
Thank you.
Well done, well deserved.
Yes, so you.
Enjoyed serving with you all,
Uh-huh.
most of the time. Sometimes.
Yes, that percentage is.
Occasionally.
Occasionally, every once in a while,
lot.
a couple of times a year.
So were you in the class of 2017 coming into the
When
select?
I started,
Yeah, when did you
well,
start?
this is 6 years. I think I lived in town less than a year before I was approached. And, yeah,
Right, so 6 years, that would be,
2025. Oh, more like 29, just before COVID, or
yeah, oh, just
Yeah.
before COVID.
yeah,
Oh, perfect timing.
2019 or so.
No stress there.
Yeah. Yeah, so you thought it would just be cool to run for the select board in your
Right.
new town?
I was new to town. I
Full
thought it
of
would be a nice
energy.
way to meet people,
Well,
and it was a way to meet people.
that's right, all kinds of meetings and,
Met a lot of nice people on the way.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it's really been fun just to see your family grow up here and think that you'll have so much more time to be a dad guy,
Yeah.
as well as whatever else you want to do with your life.
And I saw him at the sugar and snow supper, I'm like, oh my God, I mean, of course, you just age yourself, but they're really grown up. Oh my jeez.
I
So,
know,
Yeah.
I know. Did they have fun serving?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it was like all their best friends, like, so it was just a good time.
Mhm. Yeah, there were 50 people serving at the summer, right, the Sugar on Snow supper. There were, yeah, I mean, almost every seating was full.
How many seats per seating, do you know? I was curious.
That's beyond my
80
scope.
something.
80 something?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people. It was a cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and,
It was the best year they've had so far.
That's what I was wondering.
In terms of financially,
Yeah, that was one.
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and so it's a really wonderful intergenerational thing, and I
Yeah.
love the fact that it's become a real tradition to have the kids be out front.
Yeah,
That's, you know,
It's kinda
Thayer
nice.
Tomlinson, you know, it's a lineage.
yes.
So it was such a happy event in Guilford, and it's nice to think before we adjourn that it was sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Okay, our meeting is adjourned, and thank you all for coming.